My name is Robert Knox. I'm retired and I live in Dartmouth. I've brought in a pattern 1855 Prince Edward Island Volunteer Cavalry pistol. Well, I know there were only about 100 made, and so they're fairly rare. How many are left today, I don't know. And the one I'm lucky enough to own is number 70 out of that 100.
6 years after the 1763 conclusion of the French and Indian War, Prince Edward Island, then St. John's Island, became its own British colony. In 1780, the English decided to empower island citizens by raising its first militia, citing the importance of a capable and prepared home-based defense. Armed by the government, members supplied their own uniforms featuring the province's now iconic red oak tree. Over 5,000 volunteers were assigned to infantry, artillery, and cavalry companies throughout island settlements by the mid-19th century. As training continued annually, threats came and went, but never materialized into action. In 1873, Prince Edward Island formally joined the Confederation. 2 years later, following a countrywide reorganization of Canadian militia units, the Prince Edward Island Regiment was formed.
Robert, welcome to Militaria. You brought us in a cavalry pistol. Just wondering what you could tell us about it as we get started.
Well, good morning, Kevin. And what I brought in this morning is a Prince Edward Island cavalry pistol, a single shot 5.77 caliber. It was issued to a volunteer regiment in PEI, about 50 troopers, and they each got a brace or 2 pistols at a time. So at the time, there was 100 in existence, and how many are left today, your guess is as good as mine.
Now, I'm more familiar with this as the 1842 pattern cavalry pistol.
Right.
Developed by a gentleman named Lovell, who was a member of the sort of Board of Ordnance for the British Crown. So in 1842, combining this with the smoothbore musket that they issued to the British Army, they standardized this to a 75 caliber, so it takes the same ammunition as the musket would. This is a very hallmark element of this pattern, is the Lovell hammer, as they call it. So for a pistol, even a cavalry pistol, this is a big, robust lock. This is essentially the same lock that you'd see on the musket. In regard to a cavalryman's kit, these, as you mentioned earlier, are issued as pairs,
yeah.
And they're placed in what they call a bucket holster, which is kept up at the pommel of the saddle. When you look at the other sort of weapons that are issued to a cavalryman of the British tradition in this time period, you'd also have a carbine, and you'd have at a minimum an 1853 pattern cavalry saber. So very much like the same weaponry that the Light Brigade is using in the Crimea prior to this. Cavalry charge of the 19th century hasn't changed dramatically from the 18th or even 17th century. These are violent clashes between mounted troops. Well, those weapons will be in use like in the standing British Army till about 1860. You'll see those as a standard issued weapon to British Lancers, to trumpeters and cavalry regiments. So there is a direct link, the acquisition of those weapons for the volunteer movement of the brigade that is raised in Prince Edward Island. So, Robert, in terms of the context of when this pistol is issued and the sort of the world events of the day that bring rise to the volunteer movement, do you know anything you'd like to share about this in Prince Edward Island?
It was pre-Confederation, so Canada was, we know it was broken up into several regions. Each region had their own militias at the time.
That's correct.
And the population was pretty scared about U.S. expansionism. Local defense was a big factor, so again, each region had their own defense forces.
Yeah, after the American Civil War, the United States turns a blind eye to the Fenian raids that happened in Upper Canada. And so with that, this threat of a potential American invasion yet again, first one dating back to the time of the American Revolution, then during the War of 1812, and now potentially this manifest destiny ringing in everyone's ears, this threat is a viable thing. It's not just hysteria or anything like that. The driving force here is, of course, John A. Macdonald. John A. Macdonald uses this element of the potential invasion from the United States as one of the final sort of elements to get the different ministers from the other colonies to finally sign the Act of Confederation. It's not a scare tactic that Macdonald uses, but he just points out if we sit here and we continue to dicker about whether we want to form a nation, we'll be picked off one province at a time, but we'll be stronger together as a confederation of colonies or provinces. That is that thing that unifies everyone, is the element of defending the border and not being taken over by the United States in the wake of the Civil War. Now, Robert, how did you get started in collecting sort of antique pistols and military artifacts?
Well, as far as the collecting goes, I'm always fascinated with history.
Yes.
A pistol or a musket or rifle always had a fascination in some regard because you're holding history in your hands.
Yeah.
And when I was about 14 or 15, there was a friend of my folks, and he had a few antiques similar to this. And when you're 14 or 15, you get a chance to fire one type of thing. It just fires the imagination. And I think finding or hunting for the thing you want to get is the most exciting part of it. And if you find something and you look at it and you research it and you get a chance to buy it, that's one of the biggest kicks. And your collection changes too over the time. Well, history is a passion, and it's good to keep history and to pass it on. And if you're lucky enough to get something that's historical, try and keep it as in good shape as you can. They don't make these things anymore, so it's nice to have it and treasure it and pass it on.
Now, do you have any plans for your collection as years go by?
Well,
Do you have someone to leave it to?
I'll leave it to my son-in-law, and I'm starting to tell him about the things, and he'll hopefully share the same interest and pass it down to the next generation.
Oh, that's great. So it's something you share with your son-in-law as
Yeah.
an interest in
Yeah.
history. That's
Yeah.
great. That's really nice.
It is.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank you for bringing that in. It's enormously generous of you. And again, there's some armorer for
Yes.
the PEI Cavalry looking down happily at
Yeah.
how well you've taken care of his sidearms. Yeah.
Well, I was lucky enough to buy it in this condition, and I'm certainly going to keep it in that condition, and it'll hopefully stay that way for a few more 100 years.
Oh, it's a real treat to see that. I mean, they are quite rare on this side of the Atlantic. He keeps it in really good shape. It's almost like it just came out of a box. He's right. I don't think it saw a whole lot of use, that pistol, given like the condition of the stock and things like that. Yeah, Robert is the old school kind of classic gentleman collector and scholar.